I'll repeat the question. What type of motor insurance provides legal liability for damage to other person's property and passenger liability? Okay, moving forward. Who is covered by RAM? Road accident fund. Who is covered by RAM?
South African citizens.
Not only South African citizens.
Everyone in the
Sorry, guys.
public.
Who else? South African roads. That's
No, the law changed recently this year. It only applies to South African citizens. Foreign nationals cannot apply because they were rejected.
okay, guys. Okay.
The law changed.
Okay, let's continue. John has funeral cover at Old Mutual and AVBOB. Each cover is valued at 50,000 Rand. In the event of claims, how much will John's family receive in total? So he has 50,000 at AVBOB and 50,000 at Old Mutual. When he dies, how much will the family receive? Okay, what's the key difference between life cover and funeral cover? Yes.
Life cover is for the assurance of anything happens to you while you are alive. Then funeral cover is to cover the expenses of when you die.
Then, true or false, overinsurance is when the same risk and interest is insured at two or more insurers. Okay. A claim paid under critical illness benefit, is free of tax. A claim paid under critical illness benefit is free of tax. Okay, guys, I'm very worried. Please stop studying. The second test is on insurance. There are questions here that you guys did not answer correctly, and I did discuss this in class. So please look at the content. Second test is only insurance, so it's risk management, healthcare planning, everything that we've done after test 1. So please make sure you also attend the test 2 revision that is scheduled on the guide. So make sure you come for that class. I'll be giving you, I don't give hints, guys, because I think it's not fair if the students who are not in class. But guys, I don't give hints. Listen, there's a student who got 95 in test 1. Did that person need hints? Yes. No, that person did not. Is the person even here? We don't know. Alright, guys, please let's touch on today's content. So with healthcare planning, specific, when we talk about medical aid, we are talking about everything governed under this piece of legislation, which is the Medical Schemes Act 131 of 1998. So, a key thing you need to know about medical aid is that it allows for open access or open enrollment. So what that means is that medical schemes must admit anyone who applies for membership, regardless of their health status. So if they have a chronic illness, they're sick, doesn't matter. Medical aid must admit you. The only protection offered to medical aid schemes is waiting periods and late joiner penalties. So that's the only two things that they can apply. Then there are restricted medical schemes. So there are medical schemes that can deny admission if they fall outside of a specific category. So example, employees of an employer. But they cannot deny membership to persons falling within the category. So when I first started working at the university, there were 5 different companies that they said we need to belong to either one of these medical aids. So they did give us the variety, and obviously when you work in such a big structure, different types of employees fall under different categories. So that's what it would mean in terms of a restriction. So when I say different types of employees, you know, as a university, we have academic staff, we have admin support, we have ground staff, we have all sorts of staff. So it's a big structure. And obviously not everyone is in the same bracket. So with specific brackets, they'll actually recommend certain medical aid schemes. You all understand that? Okay. So community rating means that all members pay the same contribution, regardless of age, state of health, or any other grounds. The only criteria used to determine contribution
i.e. basing contributions on any other grounds, including gender, age, or health. It ensures that as long as members are young, they subsidize the old and sick. So, how medical aid works is that the young people subsidize the old and sick. How does that work? Young people don't get as sick as older and sick people. So who's making more of it? The old and the sick people. So young people pay those contributions consistently. You might find they don't make any claims in long periods of time, but the old and the sick people make more claims, and that's how there's that balance. And that's how medical aid is that made money. You all understand that? Okay, so in terms of this slide, it's important to know what a dependent is. So a dependent is defined in Section 1 of the Medical Schemes Act, and it includes the following: a spouse or partner and dependent children or members of the immediate family whom the member is liable to support and provide family care and financial support, or any other member recognized as a dependent under the rules of the scheme. A child dependent defined as being under the age of 21 or older is permitted to be a dependent under the rules of the scheme. Persons referred to above are not defined in the Act. Different schemes may apply different interpretations. So a dependent may vary. Some of you might tell me, I'm 23 and I still belong to my parents' medical aid as a dependent. The reason that's allowed, the scheme allows for it. So that is a possibility. Schemes have different rules. When I was in third year, a friend of mine, she belonged to her parents' medical scheme. However, when she fell pregnant, she could no longer belong. So they had to remove her and she had to join her own medical scheme. Okay, so in terms of immediate family, what constitutes immediate family? It is commented upon in the explanatory memorandum to the model rules published by the Council for Medical Schemes. In essence, it's regarded as members' nearest family by way of affinity and blood. Linearly, we're looking at parents, and collaterally, we're looking at siblings. So recognized as dependents only if there is a duty of support. So prescribed minimum benefits. All medical schemes have to pay for any claims in relation to the prescribed minimum benefit. So each medical scheme will differ in terms of the numbers, but there's 27 chronic illnesses that all medical schemes have to cover for. Does anyone know an example of those 27 chronic illnesses? Yes.
Cancer.
Yes. Asthma. Yes. Diabetes. Yes. They've also got the different types. What else?
HIV.
Yes. I think there is, yes. I'm not sure if that's specific, maybe it's termed differently, but yes. Anyone else?
STDs. Why not you get something?
So you did it. Your others were correct. That one I'm not sure. Yes. Sorry? High blood. Did you say high blood? Yes, high blood pressure. Epilepsy. Yes. TB. Yes.
Schizophrenia. It is a medical condition then. It is a medical condition. Like epilepsy. Like epilepsy, but
Talking about which all medical schemes have to pay for claims in respect of. That's what I'm talking about. So, like I said, there's a huge list, but different medical schemes have different amounts in which they will cover, but the 27 minimum every medical scheme covers for. Okay, so then in terms of Regulation 8, paragraph 1, it prevents schemes from imposing co-payments or deductions on PMPs. So can contain costs by appointing designated service providers. Therefore, not using GSP can result in co-payments. Co-payment is up to 25% of the cost. So that is what's considered fair. So that would be the maximum co-payment. This is in respect of PMPs. So schemes is where service was not available from the DSP or would not be provided without unreasonable delay, and goes to other instances. So do you all understand what a DSP is? How many people here belong to medical aid? Do you also have a medical scheme that says you need to go to specific providers? Yes. So you have to belong to a specific network. So what this slide is saying, in terms of PMDs, the medical aid is allowed to say that you need to go to these specific doctors within this specific network in order to not have that co-payment. And if there is a co-payment, it will be a maximum of 25%. That's what the slide is saying. And then it also says that if involuntary services are obtained, these are the 3 instances you need to pay attention to. Okay, demarcation debate. In essence, there's a common misconception that medical aid and health insurance is the same. It's not. So government found it essential that providers have a differentiating factor between the two. So, in the interest of time, we'll look at the table that differentiates medical schemes from health insurance. So in terms of the laws, the medical aid scheme is governed by the Medical Schemes Act. Health insurance is governed by the Long-Term Insurance Act and the Short-Term Insurance Act. Remember, I did say there is a policy that is covered by short-term. Then the premium. In terms of medical scheme, all members pay the same contribution based on their income and the number of dependents. So if I'm on a medical scheme and I have dependents, and someone else is on a medical scheme, they don't have dependents, makes sense that we're paying different premiums, right? Because I'm paying for those dependents. In terms of insurance products, the premium is according to the financial risk that the insurer is going to hold. So like they are allowed to do, they'll risk rate you. So look at your age, your health, your other details about you in order to decide how much they'll charge you for that product. Who does it apply to? Who can apply in terms of medical schemes? Anyone can apply, and medical schemes are obligated to admit everyone that applies. In terms of insurance products, the insurer may refuse. They may decide that you pose a high financial risk that we cannot afford to take on. So very important differentiating factor. In terms of benefits, medical scheme pays the actual medical expenses. Insurance products pay a predetermined sum insured or the severity percentage in relation. On insurance products, for instance, if you have a critical illness policy and you say, okay, should I get this critical illness? Please pay out 400,000 rand, then that's how you sign. And that's how they'll also decide on the premium, based on the amount and other risk factors. Doing the underwriting, maybe taking your bloods, taking your sugar, or taking your blood with the sugar, but taking your urine and all of that in order to decide on the premium, in order to decide on the predetermined sum insured with respect to that insurance product. In terms of the medical scheme, benefits are paid to the medical service provider directly. In some cases, they tell the member, okay, go and pay. But in practice, what usually happens where they have to pay the member, they usually tell the member to cover that expense and then they later pay the member directly. Has anyone experienced that? Okay, so that does happen. So they'll say, okay, you go see a doctor. The doctor's like, we don't want any issues with your medical scheme, so please test it. And then you do a claim later. And then the medical aid will pay you as well. Then on the right, insurance products, benefits are paid to the policyholder only. So they pay directly to the policyholder. And then they can decide, I've got this critical illness, I've now received this lump sum, and let's say your critical illness is something that's going to change your lifestyle drastically. So your house needs to do a type of stairs in order for you to access, or ramp or something like that. Then only way they protect themselves is through late joiner penalties and waiting periods. On insurance products, there is risk rating, so they can decide that you have too many of this, so we can't help. Okay, so demarcation debate is just again further elaborating on those differences. So you can just read through it. So then in terms of membership requirements and entitlements, so right to admission, they cannot cancel or suspend membership except if there's a failure to pay contributions and any debt due to the scheme, submission of fraudulent claims or committing a fraudulent act, and non-disclosure of material information. So these are the instances in which they can terminate your membership. So that bubble just talks about a case that you can read. So in terms of the protection we referred to, we said waiting periods. Medical aids are allowed to impose either the 3-month waiting period or the 12-month condition-specific waiting period. Within those 3 months, you receive no benefits. 12-month condition-specific, you receive no benefits for the conditions for which the medical advice, diagnosis, care, or treatment recommended or received within 12 months before the date of the application. So please make sure you just read that again to understand 12-month conditions. So in terms of the waiting periods, it applies to member and adult dependents individually, not applied if the child is registered or changing options within the same scheme. So I'm just using an example. Again, I'm not allowed to say choose this company, but for instance, under Discovery, if I'm changing my option, so I'm changing from this option to another, they cannot impose the waiting period. Then you cannot buy out the waiting period. Towards the end, I'm going to give you a quick example or a true story. So you cannot say to the medical aid, yes, I know I have to wait 3 months, but I'm paying this. Can I please just pay the full 3 months upfront in order for me to get the benefits? It's not allowed. Okay, so in terms of continuation of membership, members who retire from employment or whose employment is terminated due to age, health, or disability must be allowed to continue to be members of the scheme of which they have been a member. Very important point. It's aimed at protecting members of restricted schemes and is irrelevant to members of open schemes. However, employers are not compelled to continue subsidizing contributions. So when I started working at UJ, one of the benefits was they were going to help me with the contribution towards my medical aid. Now, if I leave UJ, it's just saying that they are not obligated to continue to pay for me. And then retrenched employees, the act is silent on how it's treated, but many schemes do have rules to cover this. Okay, so this is also very important. Please do read through it, but let's touch on the waiting periods. This is very important now. So, if you are not a beneficiary for 90 days preceding the application, then the medical aid scheme can impose the 3-month general waiting period. They can impose the 12-month condition-specific period, but you're allowed to apply for the PMBs. That's what it means. So a PMB application is allowed. Next one, application within 90 days, but has not been a beneficiary for a continuous period for up to 24 months. They cannot impose a 3-month waiting period, general waiting period, but the medical scheme can impose the 12-month condition-specific period. With regards to it being applicable to the PMBs, it's not applicable. Remember the 12-month condition-specific, I said you must make sure you understand the definition of it. Then, application within 90 days and beneficiary for a continuous period of more than 24 months. Yes, they can impose the 3-month general waiting period, but the 12-month condition-specific cannot be imposed. And with regards to the application to PMBs, it will not be affected. Then you can also read through the others. I did also mention that one directly. Change of benefit option within the scheme, they cannot impose any waiting period. Now let's go through an example. If X applies to join a scheme within 90 days because he no longer qualifies as a dependent on his parents' scheme, but has continuously been a beneficiary for more than 24 months on one or more schemes, the new scheme may impose the 3-month general waiting period, which will not apply to PMBs, but in practice, it's unlikely to happen. So in terms of legislation, it's always good to know what is there, but in practice, sometimes the medical schemes can be lenient and allow. The next example says, if X marries and then applies within 90 days to join the spouse's scheme and has less than 24 months continuous cover on one or more schemes, the spouse's scheme could impose the 12-month condition-specific waiting period, but will not apply to the PMPs. But the rules of some schemes is to provide that no waiting period will be applied if registration as dependent spouse is made within a certain date of the marriage. Okay, so with the waiting periods, I just suggest sit down, read through it again, because I know it's taking a lot when you sit there in front of me and you hear me say it. But once you read it by yourselves, you'll understand how it works. Okay, and then there's another example. Well, we need to touch on late joiner penalties. So late joiner penalties protects medical schemes from people who wait until they are too old or until they are old and more likely to need cover. So remember, the medical schemes still need to make their money, so they can't have a situation where someone's like, I'm young, I'm wait until old, and they think I might get this or I might get that. That's when I'll join a medical scheme. So it continues, so the late joiner penalties, they will continue as long as a person is a member and essentially a loading on the contribution. So it's a penalty on the amount that you contribute for that late joiner. It applies to those that are 35 years and older and have had a break in membership since 31 March 2001 and who does not have enough years known as creditable coverage. So the formula is as follows. B is the age of the late joiner, so the current age. C is the number of years, referred to as creditable coverage. And then once A is determined, you apply the bands per this table. We'll give an example. But first, let's touch on what creditable coverage is. So creditable coverage is any period in which the late member was as follows. A member or dependent of any medical scheme of South Africa, a member or dependent of a scheme which at the time was exempt from the Act. I'm not going to test you on that one, don't worry. A uniformed employee of the South African National Defence Force or a dependent of such employee, a member or dependent of a permanent continuation fund. Permanent continuation fund is the military services health provider in South Africa. So that's what we're talking about there. So in terms of creditable coverage, it excludes any period of coverage as dependent under the age of 21. So if this person had coverage from birth to 21, it's excluded. You only look after 21. Then it excludes any period where the member had health cover under an insurance policy. So the key one to make you remember this is that medical scheme and health insurance are completely different. So we cannot consider creditable coverage as you having a health insurance policy during a specific period. Then it does not take into account any periods when the member was out of the country or covered by a health plan or policy belonging to another country. So if the member says, okay, I'm trying to prove creditable coverage, and they said, no, I was working in Uganda and I had a health plan there, it's not considered. So let's do a quick example to help you understand the practicality. Jason, who's age 45, ding ding, late joiner. And his wife, Mary, who's 37, same thing, about the age of 35, late joiner. They have 2 children aged 7 and 9. Their medical aid premiums are 1,000 Rand for both Jason and Mary, and 700 Rand for each child. Jason has been a member of a medical scheme for 5 years, and Mary has been a member of a medical scheme since she was 16. So in terms of Jason, we put his age as 45 minus 35 from a medical scheme for 5 years. So it was easy to quickly pick up on that one. So when you put it into the formula, you say 45 minus 35 plus 5, it gives us 5. And if we go back to the table, it falls in the second band. So Jason will be penalized 25% of the premium. If we go back, the premium was 1,000 Rand. So because there's a penalty of 25%, for Jason, he'll pay 1,250. How long will he pay 1,250? For as long as he's a member. So that's how long he'll pay. For Mary, on the other hand, the total premium is 1,000 Rand. Why is her premium 1,000 Rand and why does she not have a penalty?
She's not that old. At 35, at 37, I don't think she's old enough to say that she was waiting to be 60.
No, not that.
She has been part of the medical aid since she was 16.
100%. She's been part of the medical aid since she was 16. So she's had coverage. So she's had coverage since she was 16. So even if you were to try and put it back into the calculation and you say 37 minus 35 plus how long has she had coverage? How long has she had coverage?
16 to 37, so 21 years.
Someone saying 16.
No.
Okay, but just remember, the reason why is if you try and put it back, it will
21 years.
result in 0.
21 years.
Yeah, you come from 21 years.
Yes.
The coverage after 21 years. So the reason why it cannot be negative. So if it's negative, obviously you can't apply a band because those bands are for specific years. So negative or 0, and that's why she does not have it. Okay, let's do another example. Peter and Sally have one child, Freddie. Peter's 51, Sally's 41. The one child is 18 years. They have just joined a new medical aid where the premiums are 1,300 for Peter, 1,000 for Sally, and 600 for Freddie. Peter has not been a member of a scheme since he was age 43. He worked for Microsoft in the US for 6 years, during which he was covered by the company's medical aid. Sally had 4 years creditable coverage, and Peter was covered by a medical aid for a total of 11 years. This is including 6 years when he was covered overseas. So if we're looking at Peter, he's 51 minus 35 plus the creditable coverage. Creditable coverage in this case is 5. Do you all understand why it's 5 and not 11? Can someone quickly just tell me? 11 minus 6, but that coverage overseas is not considered as creditable coverage. So that's the key thing that you need to pick up on. In terms of Sally, it was given her creditable coverage of 4, so 41 minus 35 plus 4, that gives us 39. So 2, so we'll look at the penalty band table for 2. Penalty band table will be given, so don't worry about that. And then in terms of medical aids, you need to understand that different medical aids offer different types of benefit options. So we've run out of time, guys, but in terms of benefit options, these are the ones that you need to take note of. So there's about 6. So we have traditional options, hospital plans, new generation options with savings accounts. So sometimes your medical aid, a portion of your contribution going to the medical aid will go towards a savings account. And then we also have above threshold benefits, capitation options, and discounted network options and preferred providers. On the last slide, we just talks about the NHIs and what's going on in respect of that. So now with the options, I just want to highlight the hospital plan. So hospital plans typically cover for major medical or hospital expenses and emergency services. It covers the 27 common chronic conditions out of hospital benefits. So the medication you get in respect of your cancer or all of those diseases we mentioned, they will pay for those medications which is outside the hospital. So it's very important only for those 27 common chronic conditions. Hospital plans do not cover for day-to-day expenses. So this means that that day, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. So now she's got cancer. But we have to thank the miracle of the world for medical aid. Because medical aid is going to cover all those expenses. Expenses of her treatment is going to be about 300,000 rand. Imagine what we were going to do as a family to take out money from our pockets as academics and as the other things that my sisters do. We're going to afford it. So as much as you think you're young, invincible, these things happen, you have to be prepared for it. And how you can prepare is by having medical aid or health insurance. Now, just a quick point to backtrack. In terms of the membership contribution, as a member, if I'm a member, my contribution will be the same as any other member. But if I have a dependent and children, their contributions will slightly vary. So it's very important to take note of that. That's why in those examples with the late joiner penalties, they had a slightly different contribution rate because of their title and